Alrighty, welcome back. We are going to, before we jump into Blender and design our fences, we are going to add the FPS over here somewhere. I think I'm going to do it right down here at the bottom. Well, I'm going to start making space for it right down here at the bottom. Let's just shrink this button on down. Selected the text box. I don't want the text box selected. I'll shrink the close button on down. I think we can select everything all the way up to the close button. Pull them down. Select everything down to right above the memory. Pull them down. And kind of looking at getting another panel here is what we need. We'll put the FPS right there. Alrighty, doesn't really need a text. Should name it label FPS. And let's jump over to Visual Studio. Right up here, I'm going to add the new text. Come on. Visual Studio is giving me crap. Online, I am online. It's bad to record while you're online. Alrighty. So we need a few new properties up here. Float delta time. And we're going to come down to update. And with that, trying to update a some old code I have. And I want to put another button on here, or another checkbox on here. So I don't always want to show the FPS. Or calculate it. It just bugs me. It's not horrible, but mine is delta time. Alrighty, am I missing anything here? That should be it. Jump back over here. Jump down to our common. We need to set our new label FPS and run it. Now this will have a totally different reading than Unity Stats. Unity Stats is trying to do an estimate of your released project. It's not giving you the true FPS. It's saying right now from the calculations, if the player's monitor and graphics card can handle this FPS, this is the FPS they would be running at. That's different than what we're going to see over here in our FPS. And there it is. It's just off the rock, off the roof, off, just crazy. And that's why we need an average FPS. So our average FPS would be based on the last, let's say 10 floats, 10 FPSs. And let's see here what I want. No way to get around this. Starts off equal to -1. Where's our update? Going to do this before the label. Is that right? We're always incrementing. This actually should be a string format. First of all, the current FPS, then the average. Over the last 10 FPSs. I mean, you can do however many you want. Ten just seem to move better for me. Let's do 10 chunks. I can tell my common is selected. Let's see here. Yeah, that's better. And turn the FPS counter on. And it's still kind of going nuts, ain't it? So if we go and look at, I need to quit minimizing my screen. I guess last FPS is not good for a class. I mean the 10 average. We're going to average the last 100. Let's try that, up it a little bit. And it's still doing a little bit here. So we can actually round that to make it a little bit more sensible. if we want to. Round to 0. I guess we can go ahead, take that all the way to 1,000. It's kind of got to build its way up now, because initially all the values are, that's a little bit more average. Kind of shows what's going on. You gotta let it buffer up. Though when you use these bigger numbers, I mean, we can go all the way to 10,000. But now we have to wait until it gets 10,000 values before it makes any sense. So we have to wait for 10,000 frames to hit. 10,000 updates to hit. So you see it's just kind of crawling up here. Before we really get our true average going on. I don't like waiting that long. Alrighty. So our FPS is done. Now we're about to jump into fences. Fences really explain a lot of concepts to us. When we're looking down, if this was a flat world, which we can do now, let's take that down to 1. Okay. So our fences, I believe I explained this before. We put a fence post on this even, and we actually want the fence to go straight. We don't want to follow this. I mean, you could have multiple different kind of fence posts. Fence post is, but we want it to go straight in this class, in this tutorial. Okay, so forward is no problem, but our even, when we pop it down the even, it's going to be adjusted to the back of this one. Since this is the same row, our odds will be at the front. That means we need our own base class just for fences. We'll do that in a video after we design our fences in Blender. We're about to jump to Blender. And then we have to, as we're going across, we also have to consider, do we want our fence posts do we want our fence post? I was raised on a farm. I spent 25 years, so I don't know why that's coming out so difficult. But how do we want our fence post to react to terrain that's higher than it in other things? You know, we don't have really one from the back. We need to get a building canvas over here so we don't have to select this guy. So that's not our fence post is going to be up here. We can have it bond with this. That's no big deal. But let's put one right here. Let's put it right here on the even. So we're going straight across here. Going straight across, bam, bam, bam. How does it bond with this one? I mean, those are questions you've got to answer yourself for your game. And I don't think they're a big deal. Is that floating? No, it's just a light shadow. And this shadow is mainly coming from the top, is the weird part. We're still going to get to that also. But it's like, and then you have a question about the odds. Let's see here. So I got this one up here. It's odd. You know, it's going boom, line to the back. So we don't have the same answer to both questions. We have a way we're going to do it in the class, of course. But let's jump over to Blender and let's get to it and see how this works out.